Yep, hello again. It's Friday, and not much happened this week. Kind of a quiet week on it. I did change that gear shift thing. I don't know if I told you about that. And the speedometer is still not working. I ordered a part. It's coming from somewhere in California, I think. So when it gets here, maybe I'll have some more exciting news. But in the meantime, I did change the front brakes out, and they don't bump anymore. And I did a few other things. Took a couple of rides. Didn't take any serious long rides anywhere, but it's all feeling pretty good and it drives nicely. And air conditioning works well. There you go. So Friday afternoon, a little bit of a movie today. Not much. Hope you enjoy it, and might see you next week. Yeah, I do have the badge for the back, but I have to clean off all this old junk off it first. That one there I've got pretty clean. This one here is coming along. So I've got acetone and a Q-tip, and you just go and put this acetone on all the old glue stuff. Let it soak for a couple of minutes. And then I scrape it off with my fingernail. For those of you who don't have fingernails, you can just use a little screwdriver or something. Anyway, I'll show you when I'm done. Yeah, there's most of that old yuck off there. Then the instructions say to use, what do you call that stuff? Rubbing alcohol, or in this case, moonshine. Because this solvable stuff, if I use it on the car paint, it'll take the paint right off the damn car. So I'll get some rubbing alcohol and just go over the area that I want to clean off, that I want it to go on, which is at the back of the car. I'll just bring this back with me. So it goes on just right above the tail light here, right around there somewhere. And that'll look pretty good when it's on there. So I'll wipe this down with rubbing alcohol. Wipe the back of this with rubbing alcohol, and then put the double-sided tape on it. There's tape you can get that's 3M tape for doing this kind of stuff. There it is right here. That stuff. Says exterior attachment tape. Sure, that's what I'll use. Yeah, there we go. That's rubbing alcohol, or moonshine really. But moonshine works pretty good for this sort of thing. And I rubbed off the back of the car, and I rubbed off these things here. Now I'll just wipe them up with a cloth and see how it come out. Did I just do nothing? I just did nothing there. So here, I was talking away to nothing, which I've done before. In the last video I did a bunch of talking away to nothing when I was trying to show you the, what was it, that brake bleeding thing. Wonder where that is. Somewhere on the planet. There's a brake bleeding thing. Don't know where it is right now. Hang on. Yeah, there's the brake bleeding thing. It's like one of those things you use in your garden for spraying insect stuff, or spraying whatever you spray in your garden. You pump it up and you get it around 15 pounds, which is right up there. While you put this on the top of the brake reservoir, and you put a couple of quarts of brake fluid inside there, and it just pushes brake fluid through at pressure. That's how that worked on the last video, which you're wondering, what the hell's he doing there? So anyhow, here I am. I've got this going now, and I've got the double-sided tape on the inside, and then this red stuff, you just pick it off with this little razor blade thing I have here. So anyhow, I'll stick the 635 on the back and see how it looks. Yeah, there you go. That looks not bad. Get an emblem on it. Now people won't be wondering what it is. It's a 635 CSI. So the 635 stands for a Series 6 machine, 3.5 liter custom sport injected, I think. Custom sport might be something different in German. Yeah, another Monday, more part deliveries. Now, about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, this thing here showed up in the mail. What the hell is that thing? And it didn't have any explanation with it at all. But I had ordered quite a long time ago, when I ordered the new wheels, I ordered these. Now I suppose I should have opened that up earlier. I ordered these new studs, chrome studs for it. And that is the wrench for these studs. How do you like that? So, anyway, they have a little bit of a different kind of fastening system. Then also in the mail today comes new brake drums. So I'll put them on the front. Hopefully that'll get rid of that rumble. These come from Pelican Parts. Pelican Parts. I like they send you, every time they send you something, there's a company called ECS Tuning that I get stuff from, and this company called Pelican Parts. They both send stickers. I love this sticker here. That's a nice sticker. So I stuck it on the post. Maybe I'll stick a couple more from the other guys on there too. There I was, talking to the camera. I do a lot of talking to this camera when it's not turned on. Anyhow, there it is. The rotor's off. It looks all right, but we'll just see what happens when I get the new one on. Everything turns okay. The brake calipers, well, it's new, so everything up here will be new now. Now here's something that, it's got that little bolt that comes with it right here that holds the brake caliper on. You put that in there, but it never seems to be seated just right. Like when I took it apart there, it didn't feel like it was seated right. So I put a couple of bolts in here, just, you know, more than finger tight. Seat that on the bearing, and then I'll put that in and get it tightened down. Yeah, so there's the new one back on. The calipers, there was about, you know, maybe a millimeter of difference in the size from the wear. Where is it? Right here is one bolt. Up here is the other bolt. You take those two out and the caliper comes off. And then put the new brake rotor on. And it's got this, and then there's this little plastic ring that goes around here for the wheels. It came with the wheels. Put the wheel on and it'll be all right. So how do you stretch those when the brake, what do you call that? That's called a brake rotor. When the brake rotor's got some wear. So I had my little thing out. Wait a minute, I'll get it out. So there, I've got the thing, whatever you call this thing, well, it's a measuring device. But if you put it on here, well, maybe two-handed affair. Get it on there. Oh, so there's the thickness of that one, right? Right about that much, which is in inches, just about an inch, like it's 0.995 or 0.95 of an inch. Now, if you put it on here very gently, you can see there's a gap underneath there, fairly significant. And that's not even making up for the size loss there. So that one there is 0.90 of an inch, give or take a bit. So, what's that? 0.95 of? That's, I don't know, in millimeters. Millimeters are easier to read, but pretty close to a millimeter. Anyway, yeah, so to stretch those calipers, or to shrink the calipers, or stretch, I guess, I use this thing here, which is actually a woodworking device, but it just sort of fits. You put it in like that from the other side, and then just tighten it down, and that pulls the caliper in. I'll show you when I get to the other side. I'll finish up this side and then I'll move over and work on the other side. Yeah, so the new bolts are just slightly longer than the old one. You can see here that shoulder is about eighth of an inch too long. So what happens now, I can imagine me driving down the road with that. Ooh. That's bad. That's the guard over the sensor in there for the wheel thing, and maybe I just screwed something up. I'll take the bolts out and I'll make them a little bit shorter. There, I grounded off a bit on there. Maybe took about 3 threads out of it. So that one there is short enough, but now that I've got that noise in there, I gotta take the wheel off again, take the brake off, take everything off, and straighten out that piece of metal that I bent in there. Oh well, I'll get that done now. Yeah, so what I think what happened is that there's the one that I ground off. It's just a little bit shorter than the one that I have there. But I think what happens is the manufacturer of these and the manufacturer of the wheel decided that you'd likely want to put an insert behind there to pull it out a bit so that you get clearance on turning. In this case, I didn't put that wide of a tire on it. I could have put a bit wider tire on, but because of that, I didn't. And so I don't have any insert there, so therefore the bolts don't have to be that much longer, blah, 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 and then they hit that thing. Yeah, so right here is what that thing is hitting up against. Now I could make that a little bit shorter. I don't think it'd hurt anything. The sensor's in there quite a bit. Looks like it's pretty near rusted off anyhow. I'll make this a bit shorter, and then that would make the problem disappear pretty good. Okay, that's what I'll do. That way I don't have to cut the bolts. Yeah, there it is. The anyhow, this is the guard for the brake, the sensor for the, what do you call that? Anti-lock brakes. They don't work anyhow, but hopefully you'll have them working someday. So there's still a good 1/4 inch before it hits that sensor there, and this is sort of a dust guard to keep the dust and junk out of it. Anyhow, that's the way it's going to be now. We are Groundhog Day, so nothing hits there now, and those are wound in all the way, so it must have been just that little tiny bit. So now this one here, I've got that bolt that holds it in. I'll take these 3 out, put the brake caliper back on, put the wheel back on, and see how things look. There we are, noise free. It just spins. Looks like it's spinning pretty straight too. Anyway, I haven't got them torqued down yet. I'll do that when I get it on the ground, but they're tight. So I'll leave that for now. And now I'm on the passenger side. Got the wheel off, got to get that out of there. That's the old rotor. 2 bolts in the back of here, one up here, one down here. I've got them loose, so I'll just pull them out of there, and then this flips off. Then I'll squeeze that thing together. I'll show you how. There, that's on there now. Like, you just get that top end in on the brake pad, and the back end in on this side of the caliper, and then just tighten it down, and it'll pull the brake pad in, and that sends the fluid back up the line into the reservoir, perhaps over the top. We'll wait and see if something drips. Anyhow, that's enough because it doesn't take much. It's only like 1 millimeter it's got to move. Now I'll just make this guard a bit shorter. I'll cut it right about here somewhere so that it doesn't interfere with the new bolts. Yeah, there it is, just a little bit shorter. I just used this machine here, pneumatic thing with a little cutting wheel on it. I didn't use a great big grinding wheel because I'm scared I'd cut into something that was not supposed to be cut. Scared to cut into something that wasn't supposed to be cut into. Anyway, there we go. So this time here, I left that little plastic thing on there. I didn't have to pull it off to get the brake rotor off. And I've got that pulled back into place. That's the brake pads here. So I just had to pull this one back in a little bit so that it would be able to fit over the new rotor. New rotor's over there on the bench. I'll get it and put it on and just see how we work out. Yeah, there we go. That's all back together, ready to put a wheel on it. That should... well, I'll wait till I get the wheel on because I think I got it. That's the opposite side, so a little bit of a wobble to it right there. Anyhow, the wheel will make that happen. Yeah, here's number 2 on here. And it seems to run pretty true. You hear that little bit of a scrape noise there. That'll sort itself out once the brakes seat themselves properly. Everything's looking okay. So now I'll just change all the bolts to the new type of bolts on the back there. I don't think there's anything in the back drum that'll get interfering with them. We'll check it out and see. Yeah, there we are. Number 4 wheel is on. Now I gotta let it down and tighten them up. They all spin. Yay. And they all spin fairly noise free. No click, 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 click. So I must have... nothing is hitting inside there. So that's good. So I'll let it down and I'll tighten them down and then we'll take it for a test spin. Here's all my collection of old lug nuts. I guess I got another 3 or 4 over there to put in here. Yeah, so here we go. We'll go for a little test spin and see how things are. Put up the windows. And the brakes are back to normal again. They were pretty squishy when I first got in it, but that's just because. It'll take everything a minute or 2 to settle in anyhow. And for that coating to burn off the new front brakes. Yeah, so feels alright, feels normal-ish, whatever normal is. So now I'll hit the brakes. Well, don't you know, that's smooth and the way it's supposed to be. So I guess it was just the little bit of a warp in those rotors. That likely was, I'd put new calipers on, and I bet you the old ones weren't loosening off right on the last ride, which came across Canada because they've been sitting for a long time, and they likely got overheated the brakes and warped them. Anyway, it all looks pretty good now. Feels good. Feels really nice. Well, there you go. Now the only thing I have to do is get that anti-lock light to work and the speedometer to work. But I'm sure that will solve that sometime along the way. I'll take it for a little spin around the block and see if there's any change. There you go, all for now. Yeah, there, made it back all right, and it all feels pretty good. The brakes feel nice and smooth now. The speedometer still doesn't work. And the brake light came on later than usual. Like usually it comes on before the first corner, but this time here it went a long way before it came on. So I thought to myself, oh, maybe that solved the brake problem, but apparently not. Anyway, there we are.